What up, y'all? It's Clizzy Klein, one time for your mind, here to help you shine and stay aligned. I hope you guys have been good. I hope you guys have been doing well, staying safe, staying happy, staying healthy. I'm about to head into the gym right now. Thought I'd hop back on here and talk about loneliness. Now, it just came to my mind, this topic. I feel like, a lot of people speak on it, and a lot of people really don't understand loneliness as a whole. I think that we get misconstrued sometimes when we think about loneliness. Sometimes we think about physically, like nobody's there for us, or there's nobody that we can reach out to physically that can just be there for us in our space to help make us either feel better or just have someone to talk to or help you get through some things. And I feel like there's physical loneliness where you feel like nobody around you can relate to you in the sense of maybe your struggles or your issues, and you feel just lonely when you're around different types of people that either you have to be around, or maybe you grew up with them and you just keep people around because you're used to them and you're comfortable with it. And then there's mental loneliness, which is the loneliness that is deep and personal to your journey. And your journey defines you as a person because your journey nobody else has experienced. So it gets difficult to get through those humps in terms of your mental loneliness when you feel like nobody can understand your journey. And I understand that it may feel like you are misunderstood in a way that nobody else has felt before. But when you start realizing that there's a lot of synchronicities in life, there's a lot of situations that a lot of other people have been through, you start to realize that a lot of us do have some of the same types of struggles. And it's not going to be exactly the same, but there's a sense of understanding when it comes to certain struggles that we all face. And you can understand someone's struggles without obviously living through them. And you can relate to them in a way from thinking about your own journey and your own path. And I think when it comes to mental loneliness, you can put yourself in a very deep hole if you start thinking that nobody's ever going to understand you, and you feel trapped. You feel trapped almost inside of your own body. You feel like you don't want to feel this sense of being alone anymore. You don't want to feel like your journey is misunderstood, or you don't want to feel misrepresented. And it's a tough thing to get through sometimes, and it can lead you into depressive states. It can lead you into anxious states and make you feel like nobody's there for you. And both can be affecting you at the same time. Physical loneliness, where you feel like the people around you are just not on your wavelength and you don't feel like anyone's there for you, or like actually there for you to talk to and vibe out with. And then you can have that mental loneliness, which is you feel like you don't fit in because of your personal journey. And I think it's important to just, first of all, recognize which type of loneliness you feel like you're going through, and you can always seek help. I think that we get afraid to seek help when uh society tells us to suck things up and just push through, keep pushing through, and you're fine, and you're really not lonely. This is the reason why. And I think that that's not healthy. I think that we should all be able to express how we truly feel, and we don't have to just mask things to get through it. So with loneliness, I think you always have to have that sense of knowing that you have something to offer, and your journey is going to lead you to where you need to go. And in reality, if you continue to bury yourself in these ideas of loneliness and depression and these things that are going to weigh you down, you're not going to be able to break out of those cycles and find the people that are going to resonate with you and won't make you feel alone, won't make the journey seem so one-sided or like nobody can relate. Because like I said, when you start opening up and you start realizing that a lot of our struggles can be related to, and some of us have been through similar circumstances, um you can really start to not feel alone anymore. You really start to feel like, damn, we're all just people trying to get through this life, and I go through my struggles, but I don't have to feel completely alone and completely isolated to the point where I'm self-destructive or hurting other people or not experiencing life to the fullest, like letting things go by and not being present. And it's difficult. Loneliness leads to depression, simple as that. You don't feel like you fit in, you don't feel like there's hope. And I deal with loneliness myself. Sometimes I get lonely on my journey just because I don't feel like I can relate to people sometimes, especially the area that I'm from, and me being mixed and certain things. So I totally understand. But at the end of the day, you're not alone in your struggles. You can always reach out to people, even if you feel like you can't. And if you feel like you can't, or you have tried with certain people and they don't accept you, you don't want those people around anyways. You're better off alone. So try and surround yourself with people that support you and people that hear you out and aren't just going to brush things off and tell you to shut up and, get through it. Try to do your best to realize that we have all felt lonely at one point in our lives. And getting over those humps are not easy, but it's necessary to survive. And I know the way that society is right now, it's hard to get community and find community, but find your community the best way that you can, be yourself the best way that you can, and realize that that loneliness is just a feeling, and it's a feeling that we've all experienced, but you can overcome that feeling by being on your purpose in your journey and getting through those humps, and B, surrounding yourself with people that actually care about you and will be there when you have things you want to bring up or things you're trying to get through. uh it's not easy to let go of things that aren't serving us anymore and that you feel like you're just attached to and they're just there, and but sometimes it's for the better. And sometimes feeling alone, when you embrace it and you say, hey, I can do this, that, and the third for myself, it it starts to feel like you have room for things to add on. And you know some people have a lot of responsibilities and they feel smothered. So sometimes loneliness can be a good thing too. um just make sure that you're protecting your space and protecting your energy, and doing what's best for you. um but with that being said, It's Clizzy Klein, one time for your mind, here to help you shine and stay aligned. You guys stay safe. You guys stay blessed, but don't be less, be more, and love yourself and take care of the things that you need to take care of. Stay on top of it, and you're gonna get through whatever you're going through. Just keep pushing, and but also recognize those feelings, they actually do matter. So, yes, sir.